Hello everyone, welcome to Health Changes. On May 28, 2025, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration issued a Class 1 recall on tomatoes, distributed by Williams Farms Repack, LLC, sold in Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina because they might be contaminated with Salmonella. Although no illnesses have been reported so far, a Class 1 recall indicates the highest level of risk. Today, even a seemingly harmless tomato could harbor bacteria that cause serious, sometimes life-threatening infections, especially in kids, seniors, or people with weakened immune systems. Salmonella is a genus of rod-shaped, gram-negative bacteria. Every year in the United States, Salmonella causes roughly 1.35 million infections, about 26,500 hospitalizations, and around 420 deaths. CDC. Salmonella. Unlike raw chicken or eggs where Salmonella presence is well known, produce, like tomatoes, can also carry Salmonella, often without any visible signs. There are four main points where contamination can occur. 1. Contaminated soil and water. If a farm uses raw manure that hasn't been fully composted, or if the irrigation water is tainted with animal or human waste, Salmonella can survive in the soil for weeks to months. When the tomato plant's fruit contacts the soil directly, especially on the bottom side, bacteria can move onto the tomato's surface. 2. Harvesting practices. Farm workers who don't wash their hands after restroom breaks or after touching livestock can transfer Salmonella from their hands to the tomato skin. Tools, harvest bins, and conveyor belts that aren't properly sanitized can also spread bacteria from one fruit to another. 3. Post-harvest storage and transportation. Tomatoes are often packed in bulk bins and shipped from state to state. If even one contaminated tomato ends up in a crate, moisture and warmth can allow Salmonella to multiply and then spread to other tomatoes in the same bin. 4. Retail and kitchen handling at grocery stores. Tomatoes sometimes sit on wet, cool surfaces. Bacteria thrive in that environment. At home, if you wash chicken on the same cutting board and then slice a tomato without cleaning the board, you risk cross-contamination. In 2025 alone, we've seen multiple Salmonella alerts linked to tomatoes in the U.S. For example, May 3, 2025, Ray and Mascari Inc. vine-ripe tomatoes sold in clam shells across 11 states, including Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, New York, Ohio, and others were recalled due to possible Salmonella contamination. Fast Company. May 28, 2025, Williams Farms Repack, LLC, tomatoes distributed in Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina were issued a Class 1 recall over Salmonella concerns. Although no illnesses were reported, the FDA emphasized that Salmonella can cause severe infections, especially among vulnerable groups. People.com. Even though no illnesses have yet been confirmed in these 2025 recalls, the sheer number of affected states reminds us that any tomato we buy, whether from a big supermarket chain or a local farmer's market, could pose a risk if we're not careful. So, how do you pick tomatoes as safely as possible? Here are 5 practical tips. 1. Buy from reputable sources whenever possible. Choose tomatoes with a clear label indicating the farm name, pack date, and state of production. Large grocery chains often have stricter quality controls and traceability systems. If you shop at a farmer's market, ask your grower about their irrigation practices and whether they use properly composted fertilizer. 2. Look for official certifications. In the U.S., look for produce labeled as GAP Good Agricultural Practices, Verified, or USDA Organic. These programs require farms to follow rigorous guidelines for water testing, worker hygiene, and post-harvest handling. 3. Inspect the appearance. Healthy tomatoes should be firm, but slightly yielding, with smooth skin free of deep cuts, bruises, or excessive soft spots. Avoid any with mold, cracks around the stem, or leakage. These points of damage can be entry sites for bacteria. 4. Check the date code if provided. Some cartons or clamshells list a lot code or pack date. For example, if you spot lot codes like R4 for 6-7 or R4 for 7-0, do not buy them. That's the code for Williams Farms Repack, LLC's May 28th recall. 5. Trust your senses but be skeptical. Even a visually perfect tomato can carry Salmonella on the underside or in micro scratches you can't see. Always plan to wash and, when possible, peel or cook. Once you've selected tomatoes carefully, the next step is to wash and handle them properly. Follow these steps. Step 1. Clean hands and surfaces. Always wash your hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds before and after handling fresh produce. Scrub your countertop, cutting board, and utensils with hot, soapy water, especially if you just handled raw meat or poultry. Step 2. Rinse under running water. Hold each tomato under cool running water. Use a clean produce brush to gently scrub the surface, paying close attention to the area around the stem, where soil and bacteria often hide. Do not use soap or bleach. These are not approved for food use. Step 3. Optional disinfection soak. To give yourself extra protection, mix a solution of 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 5% acidity plus 3 cups of water in a clean bowl. Submerge the tomatoes for 5 to 10 minutes, gently agitating once or twice. Vinegar's mild acidity helps reduce bacterial load. Step 4. Rinse again and dry. Remove the tomatoes from the vinegar bath and rinse briefly under running water to remove any residual vinegar taste. Pat dry with a clean paper towel or allow them to air dry in a clean colander. Moisture left on the surface can encourage bacterial growth. Step 5. Cook thoroughly when possible. If you're making a sauce, salsa, soup, or stew, cook tomatoes to an internal temperature of at least 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 57 degrees Celsius. Most home cooking methods, sautéing, roasting, simmering, easily exceed that temperature, which kills Salmonella. Only use raw tomatoes in salads or pico de gallo if you trust the source and follow the washing steps exactly. Even after washing, how you store tomatoes matters. If you plan to eat them within 1 to 2 days, you can leave washed, dried tomatoes in a clean, ventilated container on the counter. For longer storage up to a week, place them in the refrigerator's crisper drawer set between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 45 degrees Fahrenheit for degrees Celsius, 7 degrees Celsius. Always keep them dry and avoid stacking them too tightly. Avoid refrigeration if you notice any moisture buildup or condensation. For extra safety, especially if you live in an area where tomato recalls are more common, look for tomatoes that have a QR code or lot number on the pack. Many supermarkets now include a scan for traceability label. Scanning it with your smartphone shows you exactly which farm and packing line handled that tomato. If a recall is issued, you'll instantly know whether to dispose of it. If you buy from a farmer's market, ask the grower if they're certified under a program like California's Leafy Greens Marketing Agreement LGMA, which enforces strict water testing and worker hygiene practices. Although LGMA specifically focuses on leafy greens, many small farms follow similar standards for all their produce. Tomatoes can carry Salmonella at any point from farm to table, soil, water, handling, shipping, or even at home. When buying, choose GAP-verified or organic tomatoes with clear farm information. Inspect for cuts, bruises, or mold. Never skip washing. Rinse under running water. Scrub with a clean brush. Optionally soak in a mild vinegar solution, then rinse and dry. Cook tomatoes whenever possible or store them properly at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 45 degrees Fahrenheit to slow bacterial growth. Use traceability tools, OD numbers, or QR codes to verify that your tomatoes aren't part of a recall. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe. Click the bell icon to get notified whenever we post new content on food safety and health. And share this video with friends and family. In our next video, We'll talk about leafy greens and how to reduce your risk of E. coli, stay safe, and stay healthy with Health Changes.